Hi, my name's Don. Welcome back to Project Urtle. In this episode, we'll finally start to assemble the body. Okay, the time has come to cut out the step recess in the chassis, which I didn't do before because I wanted to keep a flat bed until I had gotten all the components home. So this can come out now. Because I wasn't sure that I would be able to accurately describe that wheel arch mathematically, if you like, in order to have the CNC system cut it. What I've done is made a very cheap MDF template, which matches the wheel arch and gives me a datum point along that bottom edge and that front corner. So if I take that out to the panel now, I should be able to transfer that wheel arch shape to the panel. In order to be able to bond the panels to the chassis, I've now going to rough the surface up. I'm using about 60 or maybe actually 40 grit sandpaper on the random orbital sander, just to take the shine off the fiberglass and allow better adhesion. And then of course the same thing is required to be done to the aluminium chassis where the panels are going to be glued on, and so that was done with a flapper wheel and again about 40 grit paper on that. Here I'm drilling some screw holes that I was intending to use as clamping, to be able to place a screw in through the chassis into the back of the panel to help keep the panel in place while the glue dried. In actual fact, I didn't really think about this terribly well, and almost all of these holes aren't accessible when I came to glue the panel on. But the glue extrudes its way through those holes and I think probably helps lock it in place. As you can see, Adrian's back here to give me a hand, and we've got the first panel stood up and glued in place, but I forgot to video that. But here we're just placing some screws through the aluminium extrusion that's along the front edge of the chassis there to clamp that panel in place while the glue sets. At this stage I'm starting to realise that almost 50% of the work in gluing a panel together is cleaning up after you've put it together. The stuff goes everywhere. On this front panel there was nothing else to hold it square, so we made a temporary wooden brace to hold this wall up vertical and at right angles to the floor of on the chassis, and screwed that into place. cleanup can be difficult in some places, and here I made special tool number 24 to be able to scrape off excess glue from the gap between the wall and the cab of the truck. Now it was time to glue on the first of the big side panels, this on the passenger side, and I glued it up liberally. Alright, how bad can it be? Whoa! Right? Yep. Compared to me about 2 inches. Bit more, that's it. Stopping it going here. Happy? Yeah.
I'll keep holding it.
Okay.
Yeah, put some tape on.
Yeah. At this point I should point out that generally these joints, after being glued together, are just taped together temporarily with gaffer tape, and that holds them in position quite well until the glue has set. Where I could, I used clamps to clamp the edges of the panels to the lower edge of the chassis, and on the inside I threw in some temporary brackets just to hold the wall against the chassis until the glue dried. Later on I took these out again.
Do you want me to lean on it?
Yes, please. Now seemed like a good time to take out the first of the door cutouts, this one into the what I call the through boot, which runs right through from one side of the camper to the other and will give me place to store things like second spare tyre and jerry cans of fuel and that kind of thing. I'm using the oscillating multi-tool to do this, and it is just the best tool for cutting this product. The pieces cut out at this stage, of course, are also the finished piece to go inside of the door and will get reused again. Everything's pre-cut already for the door jamb to go on and the locks to be put in place. Okay, so what do we do? Flatten it?
Flatten it.
And then take it
Walk
in.
it up. Okay,
The next major piece to go on was the floor of the overhead bed, and this was a little bit floppy because as you can see the front edge of it has been kerf cut so that it can bend up and around the front of the bed area and give me a bit more of an aerodynamic shape. And with a bit of fluffing around by a couple of old blokes, we got it up there without too much difficulty. Okay, I'm here. Okay.
Put it in the slot that you're in.
Yep.
First.
This panel has a couple of dados cut into the bottom side of it, so that it locks over the two vertical walls that are in front of me there, and slots into a rebate cut in the side wall, where you can see Adrian reaching over to try and line it up for me. And this, together with the glue, makes an extremely strong joint and locks things up really nice and square and straight.
Let's see what's going on. Oh, yeah, just a little bit this way. And then push.
ATU.
Yep, keep going.
Is it going at all? No. It's not moving. Oh yes, it's a little high in the middle. Right. We have another bit of, hold that nose up a bit higher. I'm just wondering if
It's going.
I get a block of
Keep going.
like that.
Yep.
I'll get more direct. I think I'm going to have to get a block of wood
Alright.
hammer. We get anything?
No. It's just springing.
Okay. Yes, it's a little low. Just at the forward end of the through boot door.
Yeah.
It's going to have to lift. Just no, that's the back end. Try the forward end. Yeah, that's just going to have a little lift.
Wait.
That's probably it. I can see a gap.
Okay.
Once it's in place eventually, it's just a matter of taping up the joints to clamp them in place, and then of course cleaning up. Then it was just a matter of rinse and repeat for the driver's side wall. A lot of tape and clamps in place, and that went on relatively easily. The next job was to wrap the floor of the overhead bed up and around the nose of the camper, and again sticky tape comes to the rescue and a couple of ratchet straps, and we eventually got it in place. Okay, do the other one a bit more now.
You just want to check the front faces.
Okay.
Make sure they're engaging all right.
So this is probably as good a time as any to finish off this episode. The walls so far have gone together beautifully. Styromax have done a really good job of cutting these. Everything is just lining up perfectly. In the next episode we'll start fitting out some of the internal walls around the ensuite. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you in the next episode.